Welcome on in together round gang, it's time for some more Total War Warhammer 3 news. We are back with a Lords of the End Times Meet Nagash blog. A little bit late, as the Lady Wizard and I were at a doctor's appointment where we got to see a 3D ultrasound of baby Aurelia, which was incredible. I did cry just a few manly tears. Anyway, the Warhammer world isn't short of a villain or two, but none of them even come close to the monstrous, magisterial malignance of Nagash. He's the architect of necromancy itself, which really makes him the sire of all undead races. He's now back from the dead and calling all his children to service. Come, mortal, it's time to meet the master. Yes, Nagash, the supreme lord of undeath, the firstborn son of Ketep of Kimri. Nagash led the high priesthood of the Nehekaran mortuary cult. He discovered a branch of dark magic previously unknown to man, that of necromancy, and created the elixir of life, granting him unnatural longevity. Nagash took the throne and warred against the other kings of Nehekara, but was defeated and fled in exile. I'll just pause real quick. This is great. We get a little bit of a lore blurb, like a proper lore blurb, on this character. Fantastic. And that might have been the end of his tale, but for the fact he discovered Warpstone, concentrated volatile magic in solid form, which then transformed him into a creature of unsurpassed power. Beneath the crags of Cripple Peak, he unearthed a vast abundance of Warpstone and erected his fortress, Nagashazar, there. Thus armed, he began preparations to conduct a great dark ritual and take his vengeance on all of Nehekara. The Skaven, terrified of the power that Nagash wielded and coveting the Warpstone under Cripple Peak, for themselves naturally hatched a plot to defeat the Necromancer. They crafted a Warpstone Fellblade and smuggled it into the dungeons beneath Nagashazar, where Nagash had imprisoned the Nehekaran king Alcatazar. Pressing the blade into his hands, they freed Alcatazar and bade him to take his vengeance. Nagash had unleashed his dark ritual, ending all life in Nehekara and raising its people on death. Drunk on the vast power he wielded, he was unaware as Alcatazar stole into the ritual chamber and struck him down. However, Nagash's necromantic power was so great that his spirit remained. Over the centuries, Nagash's spirit was drawn inexorably back to his black pyramidic Kimri, and he was reborn in the Age of Sigmar. As he gained his strength, Nagash discovered his crown and all the power it contained had fallen into the hands of Sigmar. He began raising a new army of the dead and set his sights on reclaiming it. Carving a path through the Empire, his forces growing with every victory, he fought countless battles until at last he fought Sigmar in battle. Seeing his quarry wearing the crown, Nagash hurled his magical fury at Sigmar, bringing him to his knees. Sigmar tore off the crown, and as Nagash clawed for it, Sigmar raised Golmaraz, and the Necromancer was bonked on his noggin. Now Nagash has risen again, returned to one life by the efforts of Arkin the Black and Manfred von Karstein. The forces of chaos threatened to consume the world, which should rightfully be his to rule. Nagash would see its inhabitants slain and resurrected in his eternal service. He's the best boss, and now he has his sights set on nothing less than godhood. Indeed, indeed. Like I said, we need to see these creative assembly for all of your lores you're bringing into the game in the future. This is fantastic. Gets those that may not know his lore, this is a short little blurb of it, but still, may not know his lore, up to speed and maybe more interested because of what they learn. For his campaign gameplay, claiming what is rightfully his, Nagash has mastery over all flavors of undeath. As he captures settlements, he can transform them into summoning grounds for the staggering variety of all undead units. Coastal settlements become pirate coves, while inland settlements can be fashioned into burial chambers or mausoleums. Across these settlements, Nagash gains access to recruitment options across the Vampire Coast, Tomb Kings, and Vampire Counts unit rosters. The crowning landmarks of Nagash's campaign are necropolises, major settlements which form the very foundation for Nagash's Land of the Dead campaign mechanic. The necropolis gathers necromantic energy from each region in its province, and from those in every province bordering it. Necromantic energy is spent on construction of necropolis buildings, increasing the faction's unit capacities and raising units instantly in the province via the Grave Call recruitment option, though units can still be recruited as normal using dark energy. Each necropolis is a powerhouse of elite unit recruitment, offering advanced military structures to raise the mightiest warriors from each flavor of undeath. These are like your Dark Elf towers, your Chaos Dwarf towers, or your what do they call it? The Pleasure Palaces for Verticalis, your super heavy-hitting major settlements. And then all your minor settlements can be turned into the different pirate coves, burial chambers, and mausoleums, which all sound fantastic. Hopefully, we just have a insane amount of building options for Nagash. Nagash should be rightfully confusing. Look at this art here. These skellies are walking into the mausoleum to become better. When not creating nightmarish combinations of undead warriors, Nagash conducts arcane research. What is this? Hang on now, I'm gonna have to pause. Ah, we're playing Path of Exile now, are we? Looky here. Now see, we have to learn more. His starting settlement is going to be the Black Pyramid, and his source of much of his campaign development. The Black Pyramid feature contains a vast array of nodes. Yes, this is our Path of Exile mechanic, which govern upgrades for all aspects of Nagash's campaign, and the many units he can recruit. These upgrades required empowered sigils within the Black Pyramid. This can be done through many sources, but principally by constructing and improving necropolises. So his faction strength moves hand in hand with his territorial conquest and necropolis construction. We see the insane Black Pyramid panel. Oh, and a little bit more zoomed in. My goodness. Disempower sigils. We don't get to see what any of these do quite yet, but there's skulls everywhere. Glorious. Ah, here we go. I see, I can't read this super well, at least the small text, but we've got sigil browser, browse sigils, or to empower by selecting the Black Pyramid categories below. Use the active effects filter to see effects in each position, something providing. So we've got other monsters and beasts, beasts of the dead nature, upkeep reduction for dire wolves, and something unlock. Gravecall. We get dire wolves in the Gravecall, so they cost less, and we can Gravecall them. Good grief. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. Monsters of the dead flesh, of the dead stone, of the dead divine. Neat, so probably like the Mournghast and things. Cool. Looks like they've got a lot of these active. This is so neat. And I don't even know what it does yet. Next on Nagash's to-do list is subjugating the mortarchs to his service. So wait, we don't get to see, it's just a teaser. Look at all the nodes you could unlock. Now guess, mere mortals, at what they do. Fair enough. These are the legendary lords and heroes whom Nagash has chosen as his lieutenants, and each has their own unlocked conditions. Subjugating any of the legendary lords, namely Arkin the Black, Neferata, Luther Harkin, plus Vlad and Manfred von Karstein, grants you immediate ownership over their empires and forces, so he has a proper confederation. There are also 3 legendary heroes in the form of Dieter Hellschnitt, Wallach Harkin, and Krell, plus a poltergeist follower known as the Nameless. Nameless is going to be here too, who grants any lord he's assigned to the ability to possess enemy units before a battle. Alright then. Oh, and Nagash really wants his stuff back. By recovering the books of Nagash from the various armies and settlements around the world who currently hold them, Nagash can empower them to grant him extra spells in the lores of light, vampires, death, and Nagara. I mean, naturally. All told, Nagash's campaign is a rampant power fantasy made real, which is only fitting for the Supreme Lord of Undeath. See, we might actually get a slow, balance, a slow screeching balance to maybe a 50-50 in campaigns for Sigmar and Nagash. Are you going to start up your 1000th Karl Franz campaign or your 500th Nagash campaign? Find out next week. Well, maybe not next week, but when we're able to. Battle gameplay, if we were to sum up the focus of Nagash's battle gameplay in a single term, it'd be power. That begins with Nagash himself, who is probably the single most powerful character in-game. Plus, he has all the full rosters. You should just let us find out. He definitely would be, but still. Every undead faction at his bony fingertips, and some potent new additions in the form of Morghasts, the Spirit Host, and the Coven Throne, and the unspeakable might of the Kimric Titan. When it comes to building armies with Nagash, the sky's the limit. Actually, the earth is your limit. Apex Caster and Master Lord, look at Big Bone Daddy Nagash himself. He looks absolutely marvelous. And I won't lie, the mod that we had for a while with him did him justice, but this is also just incredible. I want all those different books too. So is he going to have more books floating around him as we claim them? How cool would that be? And if not, maybe they just have the books floating around him naturally, and this is what they'll be looking like on as their little sprites. Or their models, their 3D models in campaign itself. I can't wait. We might slowly be bringing back to, wait a second, if I can bring Neferata into Nagash's campaign, maybe we're more excited about a Nagash campaign. If Nagash were simply a mage, he'd be the most powerful spellcaster in the game, with the lore of undeath at his beck and call, plus additive spells in the lores of light, death, vampires, and Nehekara, created by the knowledge in his lost books. He's a magical juggernaut. But he isn't simply a mage. Tooled up with his legendary armor and weapons, he's an absolute killing machine. His Staff of Power, Nagash, can pulse out a vortex which repels attackers. He has the Pain Sphere, while his Mortis Blade, Zephet Nabar, can trigger explosions which return any damage dealt as health for Nagash. He's got Life Steal. Plus, his Arch Necromancer ability is a one-shot finishing move for enemy lords or heroes. When activated, it deals eye-watering levels of damage, provided they're already seriously wounded. I'm sorry, how many times can we do this? It's really fun when you can with Yuan Bo, so I can't wait to see how much more powerful they gave him Yuan Bo's ability too. Poor Kairos. Kairos and Teclis both being left in the dust immediately by Nagash once he arrives. As if all that weren't enough, Nagash is the master of combat necromancy and is able to unlock a range of Rise, Gravecall army abilities, allowing him to raise units in the thick of... You can just bring units... Would you expect anything less from the Supreme Lord of Necromancy? So just in the middle of your fight, you can say, oh, I would love some extra Tomb Guard, thanks, or some Lobby and Handmaidens. Oh my. Well, fair enough. I guess we can just take a... We'll recover from our stupor momentarily. You can even get the missile troops. Alright. Alright. Legendary hero, Dieter Hellschnitt, multi-discipline offensive spellcaster hero with a... Unfortunate... How he's got his helmet is a skullcap helmet. Those are my least favorite kind. He's got an alright blade, though. And then the tainted tatters of Sigmar, or the scripture. Probably no longer scroll the script as Sigmar's grief scripture. A Doom Lord of Middenheim, Dieter can be subjugated to Nagash to become one of his mortarchs, and proves a blisteringly powerful offensive spellcaster in the field. Wielding a blend of damage spells to the lores of Vampire and Death, he also has a Bound Burning Skull spell, and he can access a unique Undead Manticore as a mount. Oh, how cool. Dieter Hellschnitt can also be unlocked for use by the Vampire Council factions. Yeah, he's in your technology tree, so you spend some blood and you get yourself a Dieter. Next wall, oh my good, look at Wallach. He's a proper Uber Chad, look at this. My word. Alright, the next bit I need for my collection is Wallach's cape. This cape, no, get out of here, Wheel of Lotification. Wallach's cape is incredible and I need it for my wall right above the monitor here. CA, if you could just market these capes. Get Games Workshop's approval. Also, you could market these chalices, that'd be cool too. Just come in a set of 4. The famed Blood Knight and a veteran of the Vampire Wars, Volakarkin is another of Nagash's mortarchs, a practitioner of the lore of vampires, and this blade just looks like vampiric Meta Knight, which, I'm kind of neither here nor there on. I really, really like the... What did Age of Wonders do? They put, like, the stained glass, the red stained glass, in the middle of the blade. Is it structurally sound? Well, I don't know, but you can reinforce it with dark magic and blood, so it doesn't matter. Sweet. Let's see. Back to Wallach. A practitioner of the lore of vampires, he's also a potent melee specialist, wielding the Crimson Blade, which grants him magical attacks. Wallach also carries his iconic Blood Chalice into battle, which he can drink from to regenerate lost health or coat his sword with. For extra melee punch, he's got a Dark Souls, like a weapon coat ability. He can also be unlocked for use by Vampire Counts factions through the Vampires tab, also for blood. Alright, evil vampiric Meta Knight, as you were. Next we have the Lich High Priest as a generic lord, and my goodness, these look incredible too. These are also in a couple, I don't know if SFO has them, it might. But Tomb Kings Extended had the Lich High Priest, and they were an incredible addition. These are amazing. We've got one for at least 3 of the gods. Joff, Soph, and I would guess Petra, but I don't know based on just a skull and these wispies. Either way, they look great. Oh, and they've got a polearm and blade. Right, I guess I have to keep asking for things. This blade and this polearm too. I'll put them above, or I guess next to. They'll be in the Nehekara section. All these weapons look great. Regal spellcasters of Nehekara, these lords can be recruited to wield the lords of Nehekara, Light Death, and Undeath. Which I cannot wait to see what Undeath's about, and hopefully we get to see it later on here. Their Gaze of Usurian ability can instill terror into anything less than the mightiest combatant. They're capable of summoning poisonous scarab tomb swarms to create damaging no-go areas. Hooray! The Lich High Priest can also be recruited by Tomb King's factions, as you would hopefully expect. We've got the Tomb Herald, your banner bearer unit. Oh, and they also look incredible. Yeah, so in terms of like your neutral factions, Tomb Kings are the number one for me. But I have to specify in terms of neutral factions. They also have Kapesh. See, the Kapesh with a different, like, skeleton. I'm going to accidentally hook myself with one of these different spikes, and I'm not going to be very happy about it. So maybe this one. I have to have one of these blades. Oh, and all the banners look awesome, too. Tomb Heralds are, yeah, the Tomb King section of my collection hall would be rather large. Tomb Heralds can be moderately armored melee combatants whose real value lies in their support abilities. They can regenerate undead units around them using their icon of the king, and grant rising leadership bonuses as they fight. Tomb Herald can also be recruited by Tomb King's factions. They are your warrior priest of the Tomb Kings, just probably with a little bit less punching power than the ones of Ulrich or Sigmar. Ooh, and look at the Drakenhof Templars. Yes. He's got a poor, unfortunate Vargeist there. I guess this could be just one of the dire bats. Versatile elite cavalry. Their weaponry's a little musty looking, and I don't know if I want it on my wall. Looks good, though. Good, but musty. This heavily armored vampire cavalry is adept at tar-petting enemy monsters and cavalry, keeping them pinned away from your other units. They pay out armor-piercing anti-large damage, and their Drakenhof banner grants them bonus life from any healing sources, helping them turn almost any encounter into a favorable one. Pair them up with a Tomb Herald for outstanding survivability. The Drakenhof Templars are also available to Vampire Counts units. The Templars sound like they are going to be a problem. They're going to be really, really high in melee defense, more of a stand-in brawl, which is kind of interesting for an anti-large cavalry. Normally they are all about the charge. We'll see how good they actually are. As for the Spirit Host, we've got some Ethereal Chaff. They are also incredible. It's the Snow Miser's minions. Well, the knife-wielding ethereals of the Spirit Host lack in damage, they more than make up for in penetration. Giggity. Their magical armor-piercing attacks which slow their opponents with Frostbite, combined with their high entity count, mean they're surprisingly effective at swamping, petting, and damaging heavily armored units. Spirit Host can also be recruited by Vampire Counts factions, and I cannot wait for the Akoi video that is just 18 or 19 Spirit Hosts. We have to see how far we can take these little ghostly shiv-wielding monsters. They're little spirit gremlins. We have the Morghast Orkai, which are going to be just absolute monsters. They are in the Nagash mod, and I expect they're going to be all the same, if not better, here in vanilla. Elite anti-large flyers that look absolutely marvelous. They are the undeath corrupted angels of Nagash. He's kind of molded together. These blades also look a little bit musty, and I don't think I want them on my wall, but they are perfect for the Morghasts. One of Nagash's most potent creations, the Morghast Orkai, are giant winged constructs whose two-handed glaives pay out monstrous levels of armor-piercing damage. If your opponent's heavily armored units, especially larger ones, are giving you pause for thought, then these apex killers are the ones to reach for. Wing them forward and watch the carnage unfold. Of course, us smart generals will keep them back and then send them in when the enemy's heavily armored units are already busy elsewhere, and then everyone dominates. Then we've got the Morghast Harbingers, which are elite anti-infantry flyers. They look, what's the real difference? Kind of Tyrannid face, as opposed to Bone Daddy Rhinoceros face, which, man, fair enough. Them being made of just almost like the ammunition for the Screaming Skull catapults is amazing. And then from the back, smack. Similar in many respects to the Morghast Orkai, the Harbingers are less heavily armored. As you can see, they're made of just bones. They're rocking the Dragon Scale armor, not the Dragon Plate armor, the bone armor. And instead wield dual swords. They still deal hefty armor-piercing damage though, so they're adept at carving a swath through high-tiered armored infantry, or just whatever you decide to throw them at. Next though, we have the big daddy, the Kimric Titan. And look at the detail work on these. Oh, marvelous. We'll see if they're as big as I would like them. In the trailer, they're able to give a guy a double poke with their feet and not just obliterate the man, so I'm a little bit concerned they're smaller than I think they should be. And maybe they're actually smaller than I thought they were in reality, too. Who knows, because that's just a whole sarcophagus. Taking the form of a monstrous scarab beetle, the Kimric Titan is a terrifying construct, whose damage output becomes truly lethal when combined with its abilities. Its armor is near impenetrable, which means, what, probably 150? It emits clouds of flesh-eating scarabs mid-combat, and a powerful explosive magic missile ability rounds off its armaments, making it a do-it-all death machine that is incredibly hard to kill. Kimric Titans are also available to Tomb King's factions, as we would hope. And yes, indeed, they look marvelous. Cannot wait to use these. Next up for units, we have the Coven Throne, a magical envy infantry scout chariot. Scout chariot, really? Interesting designation. The Coven Throne is useful in a number of roles on the battlefield. Its Blood Omen's ability can reveal hidden enemies, making it a neat early battle scout. But it's also great for supporting frontline troops with combat stat buffs and melee debuffs against the enemy units. It's handy in a fight too, dealing pokey armor-piercing damage, though its lack of armor means it's better suited for swift flanking or rear charges on already pinned units. Coven Thrones can also be recruited by Vampire Counts factions, so instead of being... I consider the Mortis engines, yes, it's a chariot, but it's more of a support chariot where you kind of want to keep it with the blobbier troops. This one is going to be more on the outskirts, kind of swooping around, which is interesting. I wonder how fast they're going to be. They look really cool. And I can't wait. The glow of these lanterns in certain kind of dark maps is going to be very atmospheric. And like I said a couple times, I'm betting all of these different skeletons move, which was probably a nightmare for the animating team. Cool. Next up, we have Regiment of Renown units. We have the Icon of Osirian, an albino version with extra glowing skulls. Yes, looks awesome. It's the shiny Kimric Titan. They're nasty enough, but this elite example has a couple of extra tricks up its armored sleeves. With flaming attacks to negate enemy healing effects, it's pretty well suited to bringing undead units to heal. It trades flesh-eating scarabs for soul-hunting hunger, I guess the soul-slaying hunger. A multi-use ranged vortex attack. These are all new abilities and new attacks, and I cannot wait. Oh no, is this the battle flag of Imperial Japan? Definitely not. Regiment of Renown, the Sepulchrex. Oh, the Chexmex Ushamti. Elite anti-infantry. So are these ones going to have, like, ethereal legs? Or are they're just going to drag themselves in by their arms? That would be horrifying, too. Oh, they've got arm blades. They're like the Wookiee warriors from Force Unleashed. Boasting better stats than standard Ushabti, the Sepulchrex, I'm probably pronouncing wrong, also add magical element to their armor-piercing anti-infantry attacks. With considerably more hit points than your average statue and protected by magical barriers, they're perfect for going toe-to-toe with heavily armored elite infantry. They kind of look Zinchian. I also wish they had an anti... So in the Tomb King's Expanded, you have, what are they, Ushamti Ancients, which have kind of pole weapons. So having these lads be the pole weapon Ushabti Ancients, and maybe the one and only variant of their kind, would be really, really cool. But no, we get more normal Ushabti. But these have barrier. Oh my word. Look at this monster. This almost takes me back to the Bionicle days. It's the Bionicle Archai. The Silent Legion. These Morghast Archai are aptly named for their stalk. Yeah, that's something they need. Enables them to move unseen in cover. Fly them quickly into position and land them. Oh, I see. So they have to be on the ground to be sneaky, it looks like. Ideally near the path of something big and nasty. Then when the opportunity arrives, spring them out and deal the killing blow. These are the heavily armored anti-large version. You may now consider yourself worthy to stand by the great Necromancer's side in the Lords of the End Times, but before that, keep an eye out for this week's for plenty of more info, including videos diving deeper into all the new Legendary Lords rosters, a live stream, some more Nagash nuggets, and yet more Discord giveaways. See you next time. Also, they're going to probably be devoting an entire blog to the Lore of Undeath, which I much look forward to. Well then, gang, you know the drill. Which of the revealed bits and bobs of Nagash's campaign are you the most excited about? Is it Nagash himself? Is it the Path of Exile mechanics? Which I think might be my most anticipated. I can't wait to get in here and see what all of these are. And what they all do. We've only got to see one, which is like, oh, your dire wolves are cheaper, and you can resurrect them. That's lame. I can't wait to see what else we have. So much to look forward to. And also, Nagash being able to raise up troops in the middle of combat from nothing is insane. So they're bringing in the 40k reinforcement mechanic here. Interesting. And then we've got Vampire Meta Knight, of course. Let me know, gang, in the comments. Thanks all for stopping on by. If you enjoyed, please do remember to leave a like for the like god and a sub for the sub phone, and I'll see you fine folk in the next one.